Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be doing an MLB power ranking slash tier list thing. Now that we're about a week after the trade deadline, it's kind of seeing like how teams that have bought have done, how teams that sold have done, and anything else that changes. We got my 5 categories here. We got World Series favorite, obvious. Division leaders, obvious. Wild card, pretty good. Wrong decisions at deadline, basically either mistakenly buying or selling. So a couple teams would be in there. And then a category called Good Thing Football is here because these teams got nothing else going on for them. So let's go and get started with the first one on this list, and that is the Chicago Cubs. They have been on an absolute tear of late, being one of the hottest teams in baseball. They actually went from being considered to be sellers at the deadline, especially like trading guys like Marcus Stroman and Cody Bellinger, who were playing good for them. And instead, now they have bought at the deadline. So they're currently a game back of the final wild card game. Let's see here. I got the standings pulled up next to me just to say. Yeah, they're a game back. They have won 6 out of their last 10 games. So, and got a plus 66 run differential. This is a very dangerous team. They're competing for that last wild card spot in the NL. So it'll be very interesting to see how they do. Next up, the LA Angels. They were only a game back about a week ago when they bought the deadline, adding a lot of good players. Randall Grichuk, CJ Cron, Lucas Giolito, and they got Shohei Ohtani running away with the AL MVP. You know what they've done since then? What they have done since the trade deadline. They've lost 7 straight games. They went from being 1 game back in the wild card to now being 8 games back. They are 2 games below 500, and they're behind the Mariners, Red Sox, and Yankees before even getting close to the Blue Jays, who are in the last spot. They made the wrong decision at the deadline. They bought when they should have sold. They should have sold Ohtani. They should have traded him away. They got a massive haul for him, and they didn't. They just flat out didn't, and they are going to regret this for years because Shohei's leaving. Like, there's no way, especially with this collapse going on right now, and this continues the way it is, no way in heck Shohei Ohtani's staying an Angel. So, next up, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks, who weren't major players at the deadline because they kind of have been sputtering. Like, they lost their last 6 games. They did make some transactions, though, but they're now 2 games back of the wild card. I mean, they didn't necessarily make the wrong decisions at the deadline. They're still in contention, but they're getting dangerously close to being out of contention. I'll put them a wild card for now. They might drop down to the peg in September, but still only 2 games back. They're still competitors, but they're a very young team, so nothing too worried about. Like, didn't trade for the moon or anything, but Arizona, I think, they got a very bright future, so there's that. Next up, we got the Atlanta Braves, who are far and away the best team in NL. They did have lost 3 straight. They lost to the Cubs a couple games, but these guys are still the World Series favorites in my opinion. They are a very experienced team. Their lineup is absolutely insane. They played a 3-game set against Milwaukee, and that was crazy. They were insane. Let's just say that. And I don't see anything really slowing down except for maybe their starting pitching might not being great, but we'll see from there. Next up, Baltimore. I'm actually going to put them right now in World Series contender. The reason being, they're the best team in the American League. They got a 3-game lead on Tampa Bay Rays for the division. They're a young team. They're hungry. They want to prove that Baltimore belongs. And so far they have been. So be interested to see how it goes down the stretch because they are a very young team. So will the pressure get to them or will it not? So we'll see that from there. Next up, we got Boston, who is currently sitting 5 games back in the wild card race. I'm not going to, they're a tier below the wild card. They didn't necessarily do a lot at the deadline. So kind of like in the wrong decisions because, if you want to make a push. You're going to sell. Don't just stand pat and do nothing type thing. And, I mean, they're still above 500. They're doing better than the Yankees, so that's what they can say. But other than that, not too much there. Next up is Cincinnati Reds, who, kind of like how the Orioles were a year ago, a surprising young team. They didn't add anything at the deadline because you don't want to give up any future assets. They're still playing pretty solid baseball. They're a game up on the Cubs for the last wild card spot in the NL. They have been on a kind of a bad stretch, going 3-7 in the last 10 games, but they're still young. They're still got some great young hitters. This future is very much bright in Cincinnati. Let's just go that. Cleveland. Oh, this is an old tier list that I found. So the Guardians, not this name anymore. They're down here. Not doing too great. They're 9.5 games back of the wild card. In the division, they're 5.5 games back of the Twins, who are finally starting to be decent. They sold some pieces at the deadline, got some guys back, but nothing too much there. Next up, Colorado. They're the worst team in the National League by far. The good thing football is here that the Broncos circus is going to start going on soon to distract from the open bar that is Coors Field. But yeah, no, the good thing football is here. Same thing for the White Sox. They were major sellers at the deadline. They got a good amount of pieces back, but yeah, thank goodness football is here. Justin Fields is going to distract them with all is he good or is he not talk. So White Sox down there. So are the Tigers. The Tigers are down there too. They're 14 games back of the wild card. They didn't really do much because Eduardo Rodriguez did not waive his no-trade clause, so they couldn't sell him for good pieces. But, yeah, good thing football season here is good. The Lions look to be good, so these guys are like, let's get ready for football. Next up, we got the Houston Astros, who are currently a half game up on the Blue Jays for the final wild card spot. They bought big at the deadline. They got Justin Verlander. That's going to be a big help to their rotation. Some experience there. And like I said, they got experience. They'll be fine. They're probably going to make the playoffs, make some noise here. But very interesting to see how them and the Rangers do in the wild card, in the division standings, because those two teams are going to be down to the wire. Next up, we got the Kansas City Royals, another team. Thank goodness it's football season, because you got the Kansas City Chiefs going to win the Super Bowl. Distracted from being the second worst team in all of baseball at 36-78. Absolute travesty was going on there. So next up, we got the LA Dodgers, who are solidly in division. They didn't do too much to improve their things. They're the second best team in the NL. They got a 4-game lead over the San Francisco Giants in their division. They're just a solid veteran team that's playing very well. Freddie Freeman is having a fantastic year for the Dodgers, so good for them there. Next up, we got the Miami Marlins. Currently, a game and a half back in the wild card. Since I put the Diamondbacks in wild card tier, the Marlins are also going in there. They did add at a deadline. They got Jake Berger from the White Sox because they need hitting. Their pitching has been really, really good, but hitting is something they need. They did address that, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. They are 2-8 in the last 10 games, though, so another team that's like on the verge of going down a tier. Next up is my Milwaukee Brewers. They are currently leading the NL Central by a game and a half over the Cincinnati Reds. A team that didn't add too much at the deadline, but they're hopefully getting some more pitching back. Brandon Woodruff just came back from injury, and you gotta hope that offense stays consistent. That is the big key for the Brewers, because if they score 4 more runs, they are an excellent ball club. Problem is, the offense doesn't do that as much, even with Yelich having a resurgence at the plate, which I am loving. I'm so happy Yelich is somewhat back, playing very, very good baseball. Same as William Contreras. Been great. Next up, the Minnesota Twins division. They're solidly leading the AL Central. I mean, not really saying much, but they are above 500. So they're gonna make the playoffs as the division leader. So New York Mets. I mean, they're not. Thank goodness that football is here. I mean, they're 10 games below 500. I mean, they might be down there. Yeah, they're down there. Thank goodness football is here to distract them with Aaron Rodgers being there. So you're going to go there because you're pretty bad. You sold major sellers at the deadline, which honestly, with how bad they were, it was smart of them to try to get some value out of Verlander and Scherzer and other players, but not what you wanted at all for this team. Next up, we got New York Yankees. Wrong decision at the deadline. The reason for that is they did absolutely nothing. They didn't try to add for a playoff run. They didn't sell anyone either. They just did nothing. And with a team that is currently 5.5 games back of the Blue Jays for the wild card and really kind of just being a meh team, they need to go one way or the other. And you can't just stay in the middle when you're a mediocre team. You got to choose either to really try to buy and get ahead, or you got to sell and try to start just rebuilding. The Yankees didn't either. So I'm not complaining because everyone hates the Yankees, wants to see the Yankees suck. So there's that. Oakland, good thing football is here. I mean, that doesn't really help you because your team left for Vegas and Oakland A's are going there too. So sorry, not sorry, but you're the worst team in baseball for a reason. Next up, the Philadelphia Phillies, currently holding the second wild card spot in the NL. 2.5 games up on the Reds for that. Just another solid team playing very good baseball. Got some good hitters, playing good. Pirates. I'm going to put you in good thing football this year. You guys have fallen out of contention. Not really anything there, but got some good young players to build around, which is a good, encouraging sign for you. Next up, the San Diego Padres. I really don't know what to do with you because, on one hand, you guys aren't that good of a team. You're 3 games below 500, but only 4 games back at a wild card. I do think it was a mistake to buy at the deadline, though. You were not playing good. You're probably not going to get far in this playoff either, just due to how your roster is gone. And you should have traded away Blake Snell and Josh Hader and get some assets of value. But instead you bought. Be very interesting to see how they do this month because that will really determine if AJ Preller is fired or not. But right now I'm putting it in wrong decisions because I believe they should have sold, but that's just me. Next up, Seattle, who is currently trying to make a push for that last wild card spot in the AL. I'm putting you right here. They are 3 games back at the Blue Jays, but they have been playing really good baseball. 8-2 in their last 10 games, won 5 in a row. So they're pushing for that wild card. They got good young players, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. San Francisco, currently the leader in the NL wild card. 3 games up on the Reds for the third last wild card spot. Just a really solid team. Just a really, really solid team, so not really too much there. Cardinals, I love putting you down here. You are trash. Second worst team in the National League. 10 games back at a wild card spot. Not really much there to say. You guys are bad. You should have sold. So that's just me. Rays, World Series contenders still, in my opinion. Still really good hitters. Decent pitching. Should be all right. Texas, I'm putting you in division. Mainly because, I got to see more. They are really close to being a World Series contender, though. I'm just saying. They can make some big noise there. Toronto, high up there. They're playing good baseball. They're in the last wild card spot. They're actually going to go behind Houston. So, Toronto is playing good baseball. And then Nationals, yeah, good thing football is here. You guys got a victory in losing Dan Snyder as owner of the Commanders, but your baseball team is bad. That is it. So, in order, approximate order, you got the Braves, Orioles, Rays, Rangers, Dodgers, Brewers, Twins, Astros, Blue Jays, Giants, Phillies, Reds, Cubs, Mariners, Marlins, Diamondbacks, Red Sox, Yankees, Padres, Guardians, Angels, Pirates, Mets, White Sox, Nationals, Tigers, Cardinals, Rockies, Royals, and Athletics. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe for the channel for more. I should be able to get my next Beat the Packers video out tomorrow. And then Thursday's another week in review. And then Friday is the Packers' first preseason game. Looking forward to it. Hopefully our young players really go well for the Packers. But that is all I got for today. And I hope y'all have a good day. See ya.